All right, so we're live with 52 weeks of live coding in MLOPs. This is a very random live coding. Really don't know even what I'm going to do each day, so uh, it's kind of non-deterministic in the sense that whatever happens to be going on, I'll cover it. For the last few weeks, I've been covering Hugging Face, and I think I will still cover that a little bit more because I'm still interested in some of the concepts here with Hugging Face. And in particular, I think the one that's kind of a cool one to play around with is the Dolly model, and maybe I'll talk a little bit about that and some of the things that are happening with it. And so, in order to do that, what I could do is just give you a little bit of context around what's happening. So to start with, what I can do is I can go over to the Hugging Face website. Maybe I'll share my screen here, and we'll talk about it. So everybody's talking about like Dolly, and you may have wanted to know like first of all, what is it? Well, to start with, let's go to OpenAI. I think OpenAI is uh, a company that's doing research and training machine learning models. And so they have Dolly 1 and Dolly 2. And so in the case of Dolly 2 here, you can see Dolly 2 is a new AI system that can create realistic images and art from descriptions and natural language. You can join the waitlist. You can explore it. You can view the research, right? And you can see some of the things you can build. So it's kind of a cool concept, really. This idea of building text, converting the text into a command that goes to a computer vision model that's been trained. It knows how to create images, and then it synthesizes things. I mean, it's a little bit gimmicky right now, but I think it has a lot of potential. Um, and you can see here with OpenAI like how it works. So a couple of things I'll point out about OpenAI is that if you want to use it, the way you would first do it is you would have to sign up for an account. Once you've signed up, I think I have an account with OpenAI. Let's see if I can log into my account, if this works. And yeah, so I already created an account recently, and so I'll probably go today. I guess I'm gonna again be very stochastic here and just go back and forth between different things that I've been playing around with this week. So I would say maybe the first thing that I'll tell you about is that OpenAI is where you could start playing around with some of these big models, both in natural language processing and also with computer vision. Uh, and again, in my case, I'm using the Duke AI Product Innovation team here, where I'm working with some students on some projects using these models. But basically, once you've got this set up, I guess the first place to get started would be to build, let's say, a quick start tutorial, and we can read through the documentation here. So we have OpenAI has trained cutting edge language models that are really good at understanding and generating text. And so in this particular example, they have content generation, summarization, classification, categorization, sentiment analysis, data extraction, translation, and more. And so here's an example. Start with an instruction. So suggest one name for a horse. If we play this, it's going to go through here and it's going to say sugar. I guess I could change this. Let's change it to dog. Let us change this. Suggest one name for a dog. Let's go ahead and run it. And it's going to go ahead and say biscuit. Okay, I like that name. Not bad. Now let's make the information more specific. Suggest one name for a black horse. There we go. Midnight. Let's run it again. You can see it's also which is kind of interesting, is that in this particular example, it does appear to be deterministic. So which is kind of curious. So I'm not sure exactly if it's caching things or even how the model works, but I guess in this case, a black cat would be called Midnight. What about a red dog? Let's see, suggest one name for a red dog. Crimson. Okay. Suggest 3 names for a horse that is a superhero. Here we go. Captain America, Thor, and Hulk. How about, what if we said suggest 10 names for a horse that's a superhero? And do 10. There we go. Thor, Iron Man. So pretty interesting. So this completion isn't quite what we want. These names are generic, and it seems like the model didn't pick up on the horse part of our instruction. So let's see if we can get it to come up with some more relevant examples. So suggest 3 names for an animal that's a superhero. Cat. So what do we do here? So this one, for an animal, adding examples of the output we expect provides different names. Oh, that's interesting. So if we go through here, we can see animal, cat, mighty equine, the great galloper, thunderhoof. Now in the first place, the great galloper, thunderhoof. So the last one makes sense. The great galloper. Yeah, this doesn't make sense here. I think there's an issue because these are all horse names, but in this case, we're saying suggest 3 names for an animal that's a superhero. Let's change it to 3 names for a horse. Let's see if that changes things, or it's the same. So the amazing horse, incredible horse. So interesting. What about a cat? A superhero. Let's change that. In this case, we have mighty equine. Yeah, so something weird is going on here where it doesn't know how to give names that are not horse names. So I don't know why. But basically the adjust your settings prompt design isn't the only way. One of the ways is temperature. You may have noticed that it submitted the same prompt multiple times and they would always return identical or similar. So yeah, that's I was wondering about that. It was deterministic. So if you do temperature to 1, what happens? The model, how confident the model should be in making these predictions. Remember Stardust, Pegasus. Lowering the temperature means it'll take fewer risks and completions will be more accurate and deterministic. I see. Increasing temperature will make it more non-deterministic. Okay, yeah, that was definitely one of my questions. Okay, cool. So it's going to go through here and like this is more creative mode. I see. Interesting. Okay. So what about understanding tokens and probabilities? So I guess there's enough material here that I'm probably going to just stick with OpenAI and play around with it today. But understanding tokens and probabilities. So our models process text by breaking it down into smaller units called tokens. Tokens can be words, chunks of words, or single characters. Edit the text below to see how it's tokenized. So I have an orange cat named Butterscotch. And the common words like cat are a single token, while less common words are broken down to multiple tokens. In the case of butterscotch, this is 4 tokens, but, ters, cot, and ch. Many tokens start with a white space, for example, space hello and space bye. Given some text, the models determine which token is most likely to come next. Horses are my favorites. We see animals. I see. This is where the temperature comes into play. If you submit 4 times with temperature set to 0, the model will always return back animal because it has the highest probability. If you increase the temperature, it's going to take more risks and consider tokens with lower probabilities. I see. So horses are my favorite animal. Horses are my favorite animal. Horses are my favorite. So it's usually best to set a low temperature for tasks where the desired output is well defined. Higher temperature is useful for creativity. And so you can generate fewer variations. So definitely pretty cool. I'm glad I played around with this. I like the explanation too. Really good documentation. And so, how would we run this thing? Well, let's do Python. I'm a little bit more of a Python type person, and so what I can do is do this and get this started and running somewhere. So probably trying to think here. What's the best way to clone this? You can download the code using this zip file. Let's try that. That's probably what I want. So I'm going to go to GitHub here. And again, this whole live training or live stream is live coding. So we want to be high temperature, right? We want to be creative here. So I'm gonna try stuff out here. And I'm going to build a new model. Let's see, go to repositories, go to new repo, and we'll call this Quickstart OpenAI. Quickstart OpenAI. There we go. And this is live coding MLOps with OpenAI. Looks pretty good. We'll do a README, say Python, and license. We'll do Creative Commons. There we go. We got this running. It's going to create the repo. I need to do CodeSpaces. So I'm going to have to clean this up real quick. Go to my CodeSpaces, delete one of my other ones, and we'll delete this. Perfect. And now we go back here, refresh it, and we should be able to open this up. Perfect. And I think what I'm going to do as well is I think I want to change this to be more powerful though. So how do I do that? I need to go back here and manage all. Yeah, we want to go here. So look, limit of 30 code spaces. That's fine, but this is the code space I want to tweak. So I'm going to change the machine type here, and I want to make it really powerful just in case I need it. I don't know if I do, but why not? So I've got this. It's changing the machine type here. Let's refresh it. What happens? If it takes too long, I'll just delete it and do it over again, which it does seem weird that it's taking a little bit of time. Okay, let's delete you. Thanks for playing, but we're going to bypass you. So what I'm going to do instead, which is what I should have done, is if I go and refresh here, there should be I'm going to click this button here and say configure and create code space. There we go. And this would give me the option to go to 16 core. Perfect. All right, so I got a big 16 core workspace, and I want to go through here and dive into OpenAI. And notice that they did give me that example of how to download the zip file. I'm also just going to change this to color theme to be dark. I guess I kind of like the Visual Studio Dark theme. There we go. All right, we got this working perfect. Probably create a virtual environment as well. So I'll go ahead and do that. We'll say Python, virtual environment. So we'll say virtual env tilde venv. There we go. And then I'm going to just edit my bash RC here to go through and add this. So adding bash, adding virtual environments. So let's do this. So we'll say source tilde env bin activate. Perfect. Okay, got that running. Now the reason I like to do that is just so that I can be lazy, and when I open up a new shell, I don't have to worry about the environment. And then I can now download this zip file. So grab it, and I'll say copy link address, and we can use wget like that. Wget is a way to download a zip file very easily. Boom, there we go. How do I unzip it? Pretty easy. I just say unzip master. There we go. And we've got this Open AI stuff here. Now, I'm going to be lazy and I'm going to remove this, is the main file, and I'm going to cd into OpenAI Quickstart here, and I'm going to just copy all of this inside. And so how would I do this? If I have a subdirectory and I want to copy it up one level, fortunately, pretty straightforward. I would just do this. I would say mv asterisk dot right there, right? So take all the stuff and just shove it up one level. And then what happens here is now I have an empty directory, right? And so if I did ls-lah, you'll see there's nothing in here, right? And so I'm going to just remove this. And if you use rmdir, it will remove an empty directory. So you know there will be nothing inside of there, right? There we go. Oh, actually, it says something's in there. Okay, well, what's in there? What are we seeing here? Env example. Oh, I see. So it shows me an env example here of and a get ignore example as well. Okay, so yeah, we may want to use that, which is useful to know. So maybe for now we'll leave that. So it says, okay, add your API key. So navigate into the project directory and make a copy of the environmental key. I see. So you basically copy this to here. So let's go ahead and do this. So we'll say, I guess we could run this command. So cp env example to, let's change it to this. We'll do this, but we want to do it to one directory above. Like that. We want to copy it one level up. Perfect. And now I can delete this. So I'm glad I didn't delete this yet, actually. So I'm going to say rm-rf now to delete that example. Perfect. And then I believe I can just do this. I can just copy it. I see. And we'll do this into that example. So what I'll do is I'm going to temporarily move this to another screen so that I can copy this, and then when I make my change, then I can actually go back to it. So I'm gonna copy my API key, put it in my example here, save it. Okay, now I can copy this back here to our app. Perfect. Great. So basically I copied that environmental key there without showing it to everybody. And then if we go to requirements, look, these are all the different requirements that are inside of our app. I like to be lazy and also add a make file. So I'll go ahead and do this. I'll say touch make file like this. And then inside of that make file, what I'll also do is add a section here for for installation. So let's go ahead and do that. My test. So let's go ahead and add this. There we go. So we'll do this. So what's cool about this is now it's going to be easy to just do a make install of those requirements. So okay, so I did that. Run the app. So activate. So it's going to say do this, but I don't need to do that because I just need to do a make install. So I'm going to say make install. That's why I like a make file. It's just super simple. I don't need to know any commands, anything. I just say make install. And as long as there's a requirements file, we're good to go. I'm surprised more people don't do that actually. But here we go. We're running it. And then according to this documentation, I just need to run Flask which we'll verify works. Okay. There we go. Flask run. Perfect. Flask run. There we go. Now we're running. Now, what's awesome about the CodeSpaces environment is I can do browser debugging, and it will let me open up my app. There we go. Cool. Name my pet. Name an animal. Let's go ahead and say dog. And it's going to go ahead and it's going to generate some names for us. There we go. It works. Okay. And the results, I think it generated the results up in the browser window here, right? So we can see if we put this documentation inside of here that it, I don't know, I guess we could put an example of it inside. So it basically like example output, right? I can add that section. This is what it gave me. It said Lassie the hero, Old Yeller. So pretty cool actually that I was able to get this thing working. So the quick start is we do this. Now let's look at the code. Let's open it up and let's go to the Open AI Quickstart folder. At the bottom, you'll see a function that generates the prompt that we're using. Suggest 3 names for an animal that's a superhero. And then on line 14, you'll see the code that sends the actual API request, which is right here, model DaVinci generate prompt. So wow, that's actually really cool. Let's take a look at this. So that's in line 9:14. Okay, so let's go back into our app and let's see here. And we have OpenAI. I use that key. I have a route right here. I see. So this is, it's going to use this model called text DaVinci 002. It's going to generate that prompt. And notice that the prompt is this, which is just another Python function right here. Now, one of the things I could do is Python Black installed here? Well, let's go ahead and do that. Let's say pip, let's put Black in here. I like to format my code. Make install and Black UI. Basically install Black and then format my code just because Black asterisk.py. Okay, the code's formatted. Okay, we don't need that. And then I guess if I say pip freeze, and I say grep Black, we have this version, so I can erase here and I can put this in. So we have some cool stuff here, and very easily we're able to build this out. Now, let's say I want to be a little more like interactive with this and get beyond only being able to do a microservice. Now, I think microservices are amazing, but if we want to go beyond just microservice, what I would suggest is I would go to the requirements file and also put in IPython. I'll tell you why this is important. So we'll say make install again, and it's going to install IPython. IPython lets you play around with little snippets of the code. Even if you're not doing data science, it's very important for this. So I type in well, first of all, let's get the right pip freeze command here. Here we go, IPython. Okay, and then I'm going to say IPython, and now I'm going to import that function here, right, which is generate prompt. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to say from app import generate prompts. This allows me to more easily play around with the machine learning model and kind of try things out. So from here, what I can do is I can say generates prompts, and we can just call this horse. Let's see what back. There we go. So just 3 names for a horse. So if I was going to start to keep building and prototyping this more, I would actually go through here and and actually use IPython and start to kind of build this out into a more sophisticated example. So I didn't get into DALL-E yet. So I think what I will do is, again, because this is non-deterministic, every day I do this, I just kind of, whatever happens to happen happens. I guess next week I'll do OpenAI. So now I'm shifting gears and using OpenAI, and we'll kind of meander our way through and get into DALL-E and some of the other things that are happening with OpenAI. All right. Well, thanks everybody that showed up. I'll see everybody again next week at 4:30.